when should parents let go? Should they be there all the time? I know that some DePauw students, and it's popular at many colleges where kids go home on the weekends. And what is the role of parents in helping college students and high school students?
Well, I don't think there's any time, set date when parents let go. It's a gradual process from the day you're born, where they have to feed you, to the time that you are finally completely financially out of the house, as well as just physically out of the house. I think that it's important that in high school, like Eric said, I had a very similar experience, and it started late in my freshman year, and especially my sophomore year also, that my parents started easing up on the rules, having more discussion about why the rules that do exist are there, agreeing to most of the rules, and then being responsible enough to make sure that I follow them, and teaching me responsibility and how to set priorities. I think it's important that happen in high school. If it's not, you're not going to be prepared for college. You're not going to be prepared to have the discipline to do what you're expected to do and what you should expect from yourself in college. So,
Kiki, now you're very close with your parents. What influence have they had on your life?
They've had a tremendous influence on my life. I think the biggest influence they've had in that is that they respect me as a person, not only as their daughter, but as a friend. Through high school, they could monitor me pretty well and see where I had my own self-discipline, and so they knew, well, we don't have to have that much of a hand in her academics or anything. She seems to be flowing along okay with that, so they didn't really pressure me academically. My mom occasionally would push me to go out for different things, and I'd be hesitant, and she'd give me encouragement. So it was a nice mutual respect and encouragement. I wouldn't say it was a push in any means. They knew when to let up and when to put a little heat under me, which was really nice. And I think our relationship has definitely changed for the better in college, in that it's changed from a parent-child relationship into a friend, mutual friend, almost best friend status, which I think is really good, because they know I might have an opposing opinion and they respect it.
Now, what are you doing this summer, Brad? You're going to be working on a project with your father, Dr. Gammon at DePauw University. What is the relationship of children to parents? Should they have something in common? Should they have things to share together?
I really do think that's really important. Coming to DePauw, I had no idea that I was going to major in biology or take any classes in it for that matter, and I didn't when I first got here. And it almost was I was drawn to biology. I'd always done well in it, and like you said, this will be the 4th or 5th summer in a row that I've done research with my father on the Wabash River all summer. And I think owing a lot to him is the way I've been brought up, and being interested in biology and things in nature like that have really directed myself and made me focus on what I want in life, and that to go on into law school for environmental law. And having him around all the time and giving me his focus on ideas really pointed me in the right direction, and I really pretty much owe it all to him, I think.
Now, each of you have done very well in high school, otherwise you wouldn't be going to DePauw. What made you come to DePauw? What were some of the factors? Eric?
Well, I mentioned before the extracurricular activities that I was involved in, and through the extracurricular activities, I established a really good relationship with the sponsors of the activities, who were then my teachers. So I wanted a small school where I could have the same kind of relationships with my professors here. That was the main reason for choosing a smaller school.
Have you found that to be the case?
Yeah.
Jim?
once again, it's pretty similar. I wanted a small school. That was the first criteria that narrowed my choices, and for a lot of the same reasons. I wanted a place where I thought it'd be easy to, not easy, but more readily accessible to building relationships with faculty, with other students, where it's easier to get to know people. And I think it's much easier at a small school than at a large school. And as far as why DePauw, when I came and visited here, I was impressed with the classes that I sat in on. I was impressed with the professors that I talked to. And I was impressed with the general amount of activity that went on here. Everybody seemed to have something to do. And that was important to me.
Kiki.
I really enjoyed the size of my high school. It was about the same size as DePauw, maybe 100 or 200 smaller. So I really enjoyed the rapport I had with my teachers in high school, having that much attention to them. And so I was definitely looking for a smaller school, and I wanted a liberal arts education. I wasn't specified enough to know exactly what I wanted to do, so I was looking for a liberal arts education. And DePauw seemed to offer both of those aspects. But most of anything, what I really liked about DePauw was that it seemed like a really self-sufficient community. The social life stayed on campus. It didn't go off campus. The academics were excellent on campus. There were so many activities that you could get involved with. It did well in so many different areas. It just seemed like a really positive community to be a part of. And I didn't get that feeling from a lot of the other small liberal arts schools I looked at. It really drew me to it.
Brad, same reasons or something different?
Somewhat different, because I've grown up here most of my life, and most people think I'm kind of crazy for going to college in my hometown. But along the lines of what Kiki said, DePauw is a community within itself. And even though my parents work here, if I don't make an attempt to see them, I really don't, because it's like I did go away to college. And my grandfather, my sister, my mother all went here, and I didn't even apply anywhere else. It kind of evolved into this is where I assumed I was going to be going, and I've always loved DePauw since I was little. And I don't think I could have handled a big school coming from Greencastle, where we only have maybe under 500 in the high school. So in a sense, DePauw is big for me, because throughout your 4 years you can continually meet new people, and that's something I didn't have at Greencastle because I knew everyone. But it was just DePauw had always been appealing to me, and when it came time to make the decision, it was right there.
Issue 2, college life. In a recent national survey, it was reported that college students spend more money on beer than books. Eric Pardell, what does that say about today's college student?
Jim and I have talked about this all the time, and it's I don't think it's a reflection necessarily on the education institution or the college, the university. They're being prepared for the society they're about to enter, and I think that's a rude way to say it. But the media, the advertising for alcohol appeals to the insecurities and the needs of adolescents.
Do you think being away from parents, that plays a role too?
Being away from parents, well, there's a new freedom where there's more opportunity for it. But I would say the media is, I would say, in my opinion, is the main factor.
Is this true, Jim? Is the media playing on this hype of beer versus books, or is there another factor involved?
They're playing on the hype. I don't know if I'd quite put it like that. But the media, and I don't know that it's the fault of the media in particular, they're reporting a lot of what's out there, but when we see every day somebody new who's got an alcohol problem or a drug problem, whether it's a senator, whether it's a movie star, this person entered the Betty Ford Clinic, this person has been going up before the ethics committee. What do you expect from 18 to 22-year-olds when they're role models? Everything revolves around alcohol. I mean, if it's a social function in Washington, it's a cocktail party. Everything has to focus around alcohol, and I don't know why anybody would expect anything different from high school students if this is what they're seeing for the first 18 years of their life.
Do people change through college as opposed to high school? Do you notice a greater change in yourself, Kiki? You didn't drink much in high school, and you still don't, but at least as far as I know. How have you changed in college? How have you matured since your freshman year to your senior year?
Oh, definitely changed. I
which-
didn't
in
drink
what way?
at all. If we're still relating
We're
to the
still
alcohol
relating, yeah.
topic, I didn't drink at all in high school, and I did not even take up drinking until last year, my junior year in college, really. And I think that was a choice on my part, definitely. I had peer pressure all along the way, but that was just a maturity choice on my part, and I felt that I could handle it at the time, and so I opted to drink socially. I don't know exactly what it was that sparked it, but I think it was just a mature decision in my life where I decided, okay, this is something new that I can work with now.
Because it's something in Europe that's common. People can drink beer with 16 years old, and it's not as big a problem. Do we have a problem in this country by having the drinking limit at 21 that people, because they are limited and held back, Brad, they over-abuse it when they turn 21?
I think that's pretty much obvious, like you said, with Europe. We have a limit that people say you can't drink until you're 21, but it is available for those who are under 21, and it's like they're getting away with something, you know, and it's fun at first, and it can become a problem, but if it's done in moderation, it's just something that they think, people under 21 think they're getting away with something, and I think for them to take away the limit at 21, there would be quite a few problems in the beginning, but I think in the overall long run, it may be a better solution to the problem than putting the pressure on people having to do it against the law.
May I make a comment real quick?
Yeah, Jim.
You compared it to Europe, and I think that there's one different. I'm not positive about this, but this is kind of the way I understand it. In Europe, alcohol is part of the meal, and it's centered more around, you know, I have a glass of wine with my meal, or you know, that's kind of the part of life that it's more associated with. Where here, it's completely social. It's a completely different emphasis. Alcohol is a social crutch or tool or whatever, where in Europe I don't think it's got that aspect, and I think that that's a difference that is easily overlooked.
Eric, Joan Clare, Dean of Students, has recently said in the DePauw, no kegs, no alcoholic parties over 40 people in any of the houses. Are we getting too strict at DePauw on the alcohol policy?
Here comes a disagreement between Jim and I think. I think so. I think when you make a rule like that, that is a pretty drastic change from what was traditional. The initial